Hello, everyone. Today we're going to cover Airbnb and different business models taught about Airbnb by Jonathan Farber. We're going to cover the biggest challenges that these business models have to overcome. And we're also going to look at another business model that meets those same challenges in a different way. Let's get started. Airbnb Freedom Fast Track by Jonathan Farber is an online training program designed to help individuals start and automate their own Airbnb business within 90 days. The program goes beyond basic Airbnb arbitrage. They offer lessons on co-hosting, extended stays, partnerships, creative financing, and hiring virtual assistants to manage the business. We're going to dive more deeply into the modules of this course and what's included in each course, but I want to interject and say that Jonathan's really doing a great thing here by including all of these different strategies, because one thing might work for you, but might not work for another Airbnber. So co-hosting is when you host alongside the owner or another general host for Airbnb. You are basically the middleman property manager. Extended stays, you might offer your Airbnb to travel nurses or maybe teachers that just need to be in a certain area for a certain amount of time. Partnerships, you're going to partner up with maybe brands or influencers to promote your property to a larger audience. Creative financing is just overall going to be a really good resource to have. I don't have information on how specific his financing advice is, if he goes down to localized areas for where you want to buy, or if he covers more general information for the most popular destinations, but it's still good to know that someone with experience is driving the conversation here. And then Jonathan also goes into automation through virtual assistants, and he really covers different ways to make sure that this business model is as passive as possible for you. Jonathan Farber's program has several advantages. Farber himself earns multiple six-figure revenues as a property manager and helps participants identify optimal cities for Airbnb arbitrage. The program includes weekly live coaching calls on Zoom every Monday at 6 p.m. Jonathan also gives recommendations on the best credit cards for Airbnb businesses. Choosing the right city is key for Airbnb arbitrage if you want your best chance of success. Some Airbnbs are really successful in touristy areas. Other Airbnbs are not, because the competition is so high. So there is a sweet spot there. If you're thinking of trying Airbnb arbitrage through extended stays, you might look near hospitals or near other places where people might be visiting. Areas that are full of snowbirds are a good area sometimes for Airbnbs as well. Also, a quick note on credit cards. If you are doing Airbnb arbitrage or any kind of Airbnb, you need to watch your credit very closely, because you want to be able to look good to these landlords. You want to be approved for apartments or houses or whatever rentals. And if you decide to purchase, you're going to need good credit too. So credit card points are a big thing here, but also you want to make sure that your credit is super strong. The price of Airbnb Freedom Fast Track is only disclosed through a phone call. It offers an action-based money-back guarantee within 90 days plus $1,000 if the program doesn't work for you. The Airbnb Freedom Fast Track has 10 detailed modules. The first module welcomes participants and provides an overview of what to expect. The second module focuses on market research, teaching how to analyze cities and neighborhoods for profitability. The third module covers types of properties and investment criteria, while the fourth module details the financial requirements for acquiring rental properties. To find these rental arbitrage properties, you can research Zillow, but I would be careful there, as sometimes real estate agents just put properties on Zillow to catch their own home buying leads. You might not be able to get the actual property that you're interested in. Look through Google, look through Facebook, but again, watch out for scams. Look for subleasers that sound legit. You can also reach out to Airbnb hosts that do not have good listings and market your services to them. And finally, networking with local real estate agents might hook you up with some really great partnerships. The fifth module explains the contractual obligations when under contract. The sixth and seventh modules guide participants in preparing and creating optimized Airbnb listings. The eighth module covers management automation, including outsourcing tasks to virtual assistants. The ninth module discusses business scaling by promoting listings on other rental sites. I really appreciate that Jonathan is extending his teaching past Airbnb it can be a really great opportunity to push and get more exposure to your properties if you go beyond just one platform. So you might find a local rental website. VRBO is another very popular option. And so this is a great way to scale.
The final module, the playbook, outlines different strategies for Airbnb success, including arbitrage, co-hosting, and extended stays. However, managing an Airbnb is not entirely passive. It involves tasks like furnishing and listing management.
Now, as mentioned, Jonathan does teach automation. He's going to go over outsourcing some of these tasks so that the income you earn is more passive. So eventually you will be able to get that income to be passive, but it's going to initially take a lot of time and a lot of effort to get it there and to train your team.
Additionally, economic downturns or global events like pandemics can severely impact earnings, and property damage by guests can result in loss of income and added repair costs. Jonathan Farber from Nassau County, New York, graduated from Hofstra University with a degree in marketing. After working at NetApp for nearly 6 years, he ventured into real estate in 2020. He claims to own an Airbnb portfolio that makes over $25,000 monthly. He founded Millennial Millionaires through real estate, or MMTR, in 2021, which he also claims to make over $50,000 per month. Jonathan hosts the Millennial Millionaire Real Estate Podcast, which has over 275 episodes and averages over 2,000 downloads per week. A successful student of the program, Adam, reportedly earns $4,000 per month from a property in Salt Lake City and $8,000 from another property in California.
Jonathan is certainly a certified expert in what he's talking about. And this is the key. If you want to learn about Airbnb, you have to find somebody that knows exactly what they're talking about and has the experience to back it up. And you can see this in action with this example of a successful student earning $4,000 a month from one property and $8,000 from another. It's interesting that the one is in Salt Lake City and the other is in California. I'd be interested to learn where in California he is getting that, but it is very encouraging to see these kinds of results.
Airbnb Freedom Fast Track offers comprehensive training and support. However, the Airbnb business has some undeniable challenges. The high startup cost is a significant challenge. According to Jonathan, you need a 10% down payment to qualify for a second home loan plus 15% for furnishing.
Purchasing property in the United States in 2024 is pricey. So let's say that you want to buy more of a luxury, bigger piece of property for your rental. That's easily $500,000. A 10% down payment, which is pretty low, you're going to need $50,000 cash. Let's assume your closing costs are around 3%. That's another $15,000, which means upfront you need $65,000. Then once you calculate in the interest rates, which are higher than we like, let's say around 6.5%, even planning to stretch this payment out for the next 30 years, you're looking at a monthly payment of $2,800. And that's before furnishing the apartments. That's before doing any fixer uppers, anything like that. So you will have to anticipate filling that rental up enough to make at least $3,000 a month back to just be even. Now let's consider instead a property that's just $100,000. You might be able to find this in a smaller apartment somewhere. If you are buying that, putting 10% down, that's a $10,000 down payment, and your closing costs will be $3,000. So that's $13,000 up front. Same interest rate as before. You're looking at a monthly payment of only $566 over the next 30 years. So that is much more attainable, especially as a beginner, but it might be more difficult to get people to stay at a property that is less expensive. It might not be as nice. It might not be in a desirable area. And let's say that you want to shorten that mortgage. Of course you do. You have other businesses, you have other business streams, you want to grow. So if you shorten that loan term to 10 years, it's only a monthly payment of $1,000. And so this might be far more doable for you as well.
Airbnb arbitrage businesses typically need around $5,000 to $7,000 in startup capital. This initial investment covers security deposits, the first month's rent, and furnishing the property. According to a survey by Smart Asset, the average security deposit in the U.S. is around $1,000, and furnishing a one-bedroom apartment can cost between $2,000 and $5,000, depending on the quality of the furniture. Hosts encounter various challenges with guests. Last-minute cancellations can be particularly frustrating, but setting clear cancellation policies can help mitigate this issue. Airbnb offers different cancellation policy options, from flexible to strict, allowing hosts to choose the level of protection they need. Hosts with strict cancellation policies get fewer cancellations. Despite Airbnb's party ban in 2020, which was implemented to ensure neighborhood safety, parties can still occur in rental properties. In 2021, Airbnb reported that over 6,600 guests were suspended from the platform for violating the party ban. Noisy guests are another concern, especially for those with properties in residential areas. Noise complaints can lead to strained relationships with neighbors and potential fines from local authorities. Property damage is also an inevitable risk in the short-term rental or STR business. While Airbnb offers a host guarantee program that provides up to $1 million in property damage protection, it may not cover all types of damage or liability issues. 27% of hosts reported experiencing property damage, with the average cost of repairs being around $1,000.
Not every business model out there faces similar challenges. We do something called local lead generation that really meets these challenges in a different way. So where Airbnb has higher startup costs, local lead generation has far less. You don't have to worry about furnishing an apartment. You don't have to worry about massive repair costs. Instead, you are just purchasing a domain name, and there are other costs involved with creating that website and ranking it. But that overall amount is far less than Airbnb. Moreover, since this is a digital real estate property, you avoid big repairs. You avoid surprises like that. You avoid the property damage that can occur from guests, either being unruly or purely accidental. And you don't have to worry about cancellations or noise complaints. The way that we do it is we build a partnership with a small business. You send them the leads, and that partnership might end at some point, but you remain in control. You own that website, and you'll be able to turn that website around very quickly and find another client. So there's a lot of room there. It's easy to scale instead of purchasing multiple apartments or building relationships with many different landlords and scaling that way. With local lead generation, you're simply scaling one website at a time, and there's really no end to where you can take it. So if you want to learn more about local lead generation, definitely click the link in the description below.